What's up, internet? It's Sunny, and I really hate leftists because they're never consistent. They claim to champion a cause, and that's like their number one priority, uplifting people of color or believing women or whatever the case is. They virtue signal so hard, but they're never consistent. Their virtue signaling has holes, even though that's like their number one hobby. Case in point, everyone on the left, well, not really everyone on the left, it's lefties. I have to distinguish between the two because there are some sensible liberals, okay? So there's people on the left that make it their number one goal to have people be guilty for being white. You caused slavery, so therefore you are guilty. You have to make up for what you did, even though you didn't directly cause slavery or have anything to do with slavery. You are descendants from them, so therefore you are guilty. Be miserable with me. That's their goal. Or, I'm sorry, you are a white male. You oppress people of color and women, therefore you have to grovel at my feet because I'm a person of color and you cause my issues. Like that type of thing, which I hate. Virtue signaling is like the bane of my existence. So, you may have heard lately that there is slavery, like out in the open slavery, happening in Libya. It's Middle Easterns that are receiving these slaves and treating them as property. Like I heard one story that there were slaves being traded and they were delighted that they were chosen to be slaves. And I'm like, why in the world would someone be delighted to be chosen as a slave? And it's because if they weren't chosen, they would be killed, straight up murdered. It's a problem, and just kind of an off note, not really, but it's an off note. Everything would have been okay if Hillary would not have stepped in Libya and messed everything up. She made it look like Gaddafi was an evil dictator. He may have had his flaws, okay? Every leader has their flaws. But there wasn't slavery going on. As soon as she put her fingers in Libya, everything just messed up. And now we have slavery going on. And you know, slavery happens. We all know this. We can't eradicate slavery, you know, from the face of the earth like we want to. There's sprinkles of it here and there, but over there, it is out in the open. Auctions happen, and it is being done by Middle Eastern people. Imagine my shock when the liberals don't even care. The lefties, okay? They don't even care. They're not talking about it. It's not headline news. You only hear it from media alternatives. Like, you know, just alternative media. That's all you hear it from. Yeah, there may be some mainstream sprinkled here and there, but it's not like front news like they're doing with North Korea or with China or with Russia. They're not doing it like that. They're only talking about it here and there, you know, an afterthought. Well, all this division going on, stemming from literally racism and slavery back when slavery was still a thing in the United States, you would think that this would be on the forefront of people's issues, especially those who vote Democrat because they claim to champion freeing slaves and being a champion of civil rights. But here's the thing. Here's why I know they know about it and they just don't care. Because they have meddled in foreign affairs before. Remember back some years ago, Boko Haram, I don't know how you say it, he kidnapped a whole bunch of schoolgirls, right? He kidnapped them, girl. Just took them. And I don't know what he did. I guess they probably became sex slaves back then. But, oh no, the virtue signaling started. Bring back our girls. We're going to start a hashtag. And this hashtag is going to save so many girls. We're going to hold up signs saying hashtag bring back our girls. Oh, it's going to be so great. That happened in Africa. Everybody knew about Boko Haram and Save Our Girls. They knew about it. At least they pretended to care back then. They really didn't, but at least they pretended to care. But with this, they're like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about the slave trade in Libya. And why is that? Why is that? Why is it that Save Our Girls was such a big virtue signal social movement that did nothing. Those girls are still missing. And the slave trade in Libya is an afterthought. That's a good question because I have no idea what the answer is. Well, maybe I do know. Maybe it's because Save Our Girls affected women. Those were a bunch of women, and people love virtue signaling for women. Of course, the Me Too movement, they thought it was only for women and all this other stuff. Oh, poor women, woe is me. I can't do anything for myself. Start a hashtag movement. I just can't do it. But when it comes to the slave trade in Libya, it affects mostly men. And men are just afterthoughts in this Western society. So, they can just fend for themselves. They're men. They have all the privilege. Alexa, what can you tell me about the slave trade in Libya?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Alexa, is there slavery still happening?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Alexa, who caused slavery?
Here's something I found on Wikipedia. In American slavery, the historian Peter Kolchin suggests that the economists did not fully consider the costs of the forced migration of more than 1 million slaves from the Upper South to the Deep South, where they were sold to cotton plantations. Did that answer your question?
No.
Thanks for your feedback.
Alexa, who is Muammar Gaddafi?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
You don't know who Muammar Gaddafi is? Alexa, who is Gaddafi?
Colonel Muammar Abu Nimer al-Qaddafi, born circa 1942, the de facto leader of Libya since 1969.
Alexa, who runs Libya?
Libya's senior politicians are Fayez al-Sarraj, Aqilas al-Isa, and Muriad Bousameh.
Alexa, who is Boko Haram?
Boko Haram, which now calls itself Wilayat Garbi Firqaiya, and formerly called Jamaat al-Sunnah Lidawa wal-Jihad, the Islamic extremist group based in northeastern Nigeria, also active in Chad, Niger, and northern Cameroon.
Alexa, where is Libya?
Libya is a nation-state in the Middle East. It shares a border with Algeria, Chad, Egypt, Niger, Sudan, and Tunisia.
Alexa, what is slavery?
Slavery in the United States was the legal institution of human chattel enslavement, primarily of Africans and African Americans, that existed in the United States of America in the 18th and 19th centuries.
Alexa, is there slavery in Libya?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa, is there slavery in the Middle East?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Alexa, is there slavery in Asia?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa, is there slavery in the United States?
No, the United States does not have a slave.
Alexa, is there slavery in the world?
Sorry, I'm not sure.
You mean to tell me that you don't know if there's slavery in the world, Alexa? Is there slavery in...
Sorry, I'm not sure.
You don't know? Okay. Alexa, is there slavery in the UK?
Here's something I found on Wikipedia. Slavery in Great Britain existed and was recognized from before the Roman occupation until the 12th century, when chattel slavery disappeared after the Norman conquest. Did that answer your question?
No.
Thanks for your feedback.
Alexa, when was slavery abolished in Libya?
Here's something I found on Wikipedia. Slavery in Libya has a long history and a lasting impact on the Libyan culture. Did that answer your question?
No.
Thanks for your feedback.
Wow. So it says Slavery in Libya has a long history. Let me get my... Slavery in Libya has a long history and lasting impact on the Libyan culture. So are they like defending slavery right now? Slavery in Libya has a long history and a lasting impact on the Libyan culture. That's according to Wikipedia, is that right? Yeah. It knows about slavery in Libya, apparently. Alexa, slavery in Libya.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Like, okay, I didn't ask a question. Let's try it again. Alexa, is slavery happening in Libya?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa, is slavery happening in the Middle East?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Alexa, is there slavery happening in Saudi Arabia?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa, when was slavery in Saudi Arabia abolished?
Here's something I found on Wikipedia. The abolition of slavery occurred at different times in different countries. It frequently occurred sequentially in more than one stage, for example, as abolition of the trade in slaves in a specific country, and then as abolition of slavery throughout empires. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Thanks for your feedback.
Alexa, why is slavery in Libya happening?
Sorry, I don't know that.
She don't know. Let's Bing, since for whatever reason your Echo does not use Google. Look, there's a whole wiki about slavery in Libya. Oh, and in the first thing it says slavery in Libya has a long history and lasting impact on Libyan culture. It is closely connected with the wider context of slavery in North Africa. Therefore, it is better understood when this wider scope is taken into account. What wider scope? What scope do you need? What do you mean by this, Mr. Wikipedia? Slavery in Libya has a long history and a lasting impact on the Libyan culture. It is closely connected with the wider context of slavery in North Africa. Therefore, it is better understood when this wider scope is taken into account. This sounds like it's excusing slavery. Am I going crazy here? It is estimated that between 1 million and 1.25 million Europeans were captured by pirates and sold as slaves between the 16th and 19th century. Reports of Barbary raids and kidnappings of those in Italy, France, Iberia, England, Ireland, Scotland, as far north as Iceland exists from this period. So this is saying that Europeans were slaves in the 16th and 19th century. Was this before slavery in America? So you're telling me that white people were slaves before black people in America? Oh my God. Famous accounts of Barbary slave raids include a mention in the diary of Samuel Pepys. That's not Pepe the Frog, but Pepys. P-E-P-Y-S. And a raid on the coastal village of Baltimore, Ireland, during which pirates left the entire populace of the settlement. They left with the entire populace of the settlement. Such raids in the Mediterranean were so frequent and devastating that the coastline between Venice to Malaga suffered widespread depopulation, and settlement there was discouraged. In fact, it was said that this was largely because there was no one left to capture any longer. So all the white people got kidnapped by Africans and were turned into slaves. Slavery in the post-Gaddafi era. This is what I'm looking for. Since the NATO-backed overthrow of Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi regime in 2011, thanks to Hillary, Libya has been plagued by disorder, and migrants with little cash and no papers have become vulnerable. Libya is a major exit point for African migrants heading to Europe. International Organization for Migration published a report in April 2017 showing that many of the migrants from sub-Saharan Africa heading to Europe are sold as slaves before being detained by people smugglers or militia groups. African countries below Libya were targeted for slave trading and transferred to Libyan slave markets instead. According to the victims, the price is higher for migrants with skills like painting and tilling. Slaves are often ransomed to their families, and in the meantime, until ransom can be paid, tortured, forced to work, sometimes to death, and eventually executed or left to starve if they can't pay for too long. Women are often raped and used as sex slaves and sold to brothels and private Libyan clients. Many child migrants also suffer from abuse and child rape in Libya. What are your thoughts about the slave trade in Libya, and why are people so silent about it? What are your theories behind the silence from the left media? So subscribe and make sure you like the video so it can be recommended to other people, and leave a comment on what your theories are. Have a great day, and I will go do the same. Bye guys.